All right, so video one is just gonna be on some tools that you can use to get better results. And these tools are considered mandatory tools if you are working with me in an online capacity. So these are not optional. These are just investments that you need to make in your health and your wellness. They're tools that you need to have around the house. You know, if you want to build a house, you need nails, you need a hammer, you need some boards. If you want to build this house, you want to build your body, you want to basically get it at optimal condition, you're going to need these tools. And the first one is going to be a red elastic band. So these things here, primarily we're going to use them for band pull aparts and a few other exercises. The reason this is so important is it's easy to work most muscle groups at home. You know, you can do squats, you can do lunges, you're working your legs, you can do push-ups and stuff like that. You're working your upper body, planks, core, you know. It's not that hard to work a lot of movements, but it's very hard to work pulling movements and movements that work your upper back. We can do pull-ups if you're lucky enough to have a pull-up bar or a tree that can actually bear weight. But aside from that, it's almost impossible to get horizontal pulling. You can rig up some stuff like with a bar on a couple chairs. It gets kind of complicated. A red band will serve basically to replace all of those things. You can do band pull-aparts to warm up your upper back. The other thing as well is anytime we're doing pushing movements like push-ups or things like that, you always want to pull before you push, because when you warm up the muscles of the shoulder blades, the scapula, basically you're going to create a more stable pressing environment. So you're going to have better performance with your presses. And also you're going to reduce your risk of shoulder injury. And the two joints that most commonly have issues are the shoulders and the hips. And this is going to be a critical tool in taking care of the shoulders. The hips we can do without a band. We can do it with just body weight. So these guys, they're usually anywhere from $10 to $15 on Amazon. If you need a link, just message me. I'm probably going to put together a PDF with links to all of these as well. So message me or check out the PDF that is in the course with this, and definitely get yourself a red band. The next thing that you're going to need is going to be a measuring tape. So that's one of these guys here, a soft, flexible measuring tape. It can be in inches or centimeters. Everyone that I've ever seen has it on both sides. But you are going to need one of these because, again, the most important thing that we're measuring when we are losing body fat and body weight is going to be your waist circumference. So you're going to take this guy and you're just going to put it around the waist and take a measurement pretty regularly. And this is going to be, again, considered essential. I don't just want you to lose weight. I want you to actually lose body fat. And measuring around the waist is one of the best ways to do that. Additionally, again, regardless of your weight and regardless of your BMI, the most important measurement is going to be your waist circumference when it comes to health and longevity and avoiding lifestyle diseases, you know, cardiometabolic diseases, all those things like metabolic syndrome, heart disease, stroke, the things that kill the majority of us in the long run. So that's going to be that. The third thing you're going to need is the app, MyFitnessPal. You don't need a premium account. Don't buy a premium account. Save your money. Definitely get MyFitnessPal though. It's bar none the best calorie tracking app out there. There's some small inaccuracies, but those aside, the database is way bigger than any other calorie tracking app. So it's going to be easier to find your foods. You can import recipes. There's a ton of stuff. I'm going to go into detail on how to use MyFitnessPal as well as its various features in the course. So we are going to dive right into that, but you're going to need to download that app. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need my app, the fitness app, the Trainerize app. You're going to get a link for that when you sign up with me. If you're watching this, you probably already have it, and you're going to need that app on your phone. And obviously, you've probably gathered by this time with online coaching, you're going to need to be on your phone. Primarily, we're going to be doing this through mobile. So you're going to need to have those apps. The one other thing you're going to need to have on your phone, or at the very least on your computer, although I really recommend having the apps on your phone, is going to be Google Drive. Google Drive is going to be the main way that I'm going to share resources with you, like files. If you're doing this course, you're probably already on Google Drive, so it's probably not a problem. But I really recommend having the Google Drive app on your phone, and especially Sheets, Google Sheets on your phone, because we're going to get into it, but obviously just tracking your weight, there's a ton of things that can cause it to fluctuate, like sodium, you know, alcohol, a million other reasons. So instead of looking at weight on any individual day, we're going to look at trends for weight and waist measurement over time. And that's going to give you a lot more of a reliable indicator of your progress. And we're going to use Google Sheets to do that. I've got a really cool sheet for tracking your weight, and it automatically calculates your true weight, your average weight loss per week, et cetera, et cetera. It's great, and you're going to need Google Sheets to do that, so you're going to need that app. The last thing, I think I've covered it all here. Let me check my list. Yes. The last thing you're going to need, oh, two more things actually. So one more thing that you're going to need is a food scale. Looks like this. You can turn it off and on. It weighs in grams, ounces, everything like that. Now, a lot of people, you'll hear different opinions on whether or not you do need to track your calories and if you do need to weigh your food or not. Based on my experience, I've tried everything out there. You know, I was like a chubby little kid, and then I hit high school, and I think I moved right around the start of high school. So right away, I had a summer basically where I knew nobody, and I got into fitness really early for basically just lack of anything else to do. And, you know, when you're like 12, 13, you don't really know who you are. You don't really have an identity. So I latched onto that, and that kind of became my thing, and I guess it stuck. The point of all this, the point of this story is basically that I started trying stuff when I was really young, 13, started experimenting with eating better, you know, paleo, stuff like that. Heard about creatine for the first time, you know, just kind of getting my introduction to that world. And really the only difference between me and you is that I started this when I was like 13 and basically latched onto it. And now I'm 27 going on 28, so we're like 14 years in the game. I've been doing this for more than half of my life. And that just means that I've had a lot of time to try things. So I've tried just eating natural foods. I've tried keto. I've tried paleo. I've tried, you know, vegetarian. Never tried vegan. Never went that extreme. But yeah, so I've tried a lot of different things. And no matter what kind of diet you're doing, it ultimately comes down to how much food you are taking in and out. With a lot of those things, with keto and with paleo, I'm personally the guy who can out-eat basically all my hard work. So even though I'm eating all natural foods, I get into a jar of natural peanut butter or almond butter or something, and I just crush way too much. And then before you know it, I've blown through my calories. And even though I'm eating all natural food, I'm not getting any leaner. So none of those approaches have ever worked for me. The only thing that's ever worked for me is tracking at least 6 days a week. At least 6 days a week, and then taking 1 day a week off to just relax, give myself a mental break, and not track just for 1 day. But the nice thing about MyFitnessPal is as you use it longer, it gets more and more efficient, and you do get used to it. And it's just a discipline thing. Like, look, if you don't want to lose weight, you don't want to be leaner, you don't want to live longer and be healthier, that's fine. You don't have to do any of these things. And you can actually live a long, healthy life without tracking too. Obviously, most people throughout time have done that. But the reality is we live in an environment where there's very energy-dense food all around us, and we have extremely high stress, and we want to eat to deal with stress, and it's very, very hard to monitor how many calories we're eating. So weighing your food is going to be the best thing that you can do for transforming your physique. And it's not something you have to do forever, but it's something that I highly recommend, especially at the start. And for most people, I do recommend doing it longer term as well. You get used to it very quickly. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it on a date. You don't have to do it in all these situations. But it is good to do it at least 80% of the time. Most of the time, if you really want the body that you say you want, which is why you're here in the first place. So you're definitely going to need a food scale. Last thing is going to be a lacrosse ball. So when we're working out, we're going to start to work a little bit harder. You're going to get tight areas like your traps, your chest, your shoulders. Chances are if you're not working out, they're already pretty tight. Just from sitting at a desk, you know, you've got bad posture, we're typing, we're hunched, all that stuff. All of that we're going to want to open up with. But additional to that, when we're doing push-ups and we're doing pull-ups and we're doing all this work, we're going to want to release our muscles a little bit. And stretching is one component, but mobility is another component. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to get into the fascia and open it up, and you're going to need a lacrosse ball to do it. And again, for training with me, you're going to need one of these because I don't want to see you get injured, and I want to see you take proper preventative care of your body. Because again, you'll hear me say it more and more. You've probably heard me say it already, but achieving great results means nothing if you can't maintain them over time. So if you do, you know, all these push-ups and stuff, you get a great chest, you're feeling good, awesome, and then you blow out a shoulder, and now you can't do anything for months. Well, guess what? You just wasted a lot of time and energy. You're going to have to do it all over again. You're going to be less motivated the second time around. So the best thing to do is minimize the risk of injury. You know, there's going to be bumps, there's going to be bruises. Some days you're going to be sore. You might tweak something. That's just life, but you want to minimize the odds of it happening, and a lacrosse ball is going to be huge. And then the last thing, you don't have to have one of these, but this is a huge bonus one that I do highly recommend, is the double lacrosse ball, also known as the mobility peanut. You can get one of these for like 15, 20 bucks on Amazon. And this guy right here, what you can do is you can put it between your shoulder blades, and it's really going to help you to open up your mid back and spine. And there's a saying somewhere, I forget the source of it. I was told it was an old Chinese medicine saying. I don't know if that's true or not. But the saying is, your age is your spine. So basically, if you see someone who's hunched over and their spine's all, just trash, they have terrible posture, it's very hard to move athletically, to do all the things you like to do, lift things safely and feel young. If you take great care of your spine, you keep it supple and you keep it healthy, that's where all your nerves run through. There's tons of blood vessels that run through there. If you can keep spinal integrity, you're going to live a longer, happier life. And even if you don't live longer, at the very least, you're going to live a much higher quality life. And we can't guarantee length, but we can have a huge amount of control over quality. So I highly recommend picking up one of these as well. So your shopping list is going to be food scale, measuring tape. You got to download MyFitnessPal. Don't get the paid version. You're going to need to download my fitness app. You're going to need Google Drive, and in particular, Google Sheets on your phone if you can. You're going to need a lacrosse ball. You're going to need, you're going to need a mobility band, and then I highly recommend getting a mobility peanut as well. So that's it for this video, guys. Stay tuned. We got a lot more down below. Make sure you take notes. I'm going to be following up with you and making sure that you've got all of these things, because I'm going to require you to use them during the course of your training. The only one that's optional is the mobility peanut. Everything else you've got to invest in. The red band will maybe cost you $15. Lacrosse ball should cost you maybe $5. You should be able to get a good food scale for about $25-30. Don't get the cheapest one. You don't need a fancy one either. Just go find the cheap one and then go just a little step up. Go on Amazon, find one with all 5-star reviews. And then you're going to need your measuring tape as well. These are just a few bucks on Amazon. And then you can get this, a mobility peanut with a lacrosse ball. They come in kits on Amazon, and it's like $20-25. Well worth the investment to live a longer, healthier life with better joint health. All right, so that's it for now, guys. We'll be back real soon.